Hey guys, it's Gerald back at it again with another video. In this video, I'm going to go over Adobe stock here. This is a cash generating powerhouse trading at a steep, deep discount, a 46% margin of safety, strong 30% net margins, and a new $25 billion buyback program, which is creating a rare opportunity to buy a high quality business at a value price here. So Adobe's tells a fairly compelling story here with a price to earnings of just 13.76. This is far below the software industry average and has an earnings yield of 7.3%. The stock is essentially priced like a slow growth utility, not the dominant software giant it once was, right? And some of it is warranted with the advent of AI and a lot of the interference and a lot of the disruption that artificial intelligence is doing to the software space here. None of the numbers has been reflected through AI just yet, but that's what the market is concerned about currently here. And today I'll do a sort of deeper dive into what's going on there. So revenue has stayed at a steady 10% clip for 3 years straight. Free cash flow hit 10.32 billion and has net margins at a superb 30%. Wall Street is mainly bullish as well, with 52% buy and an average price target of 397, which is still 66% above today's price, right? So what is the catch? The stock has been hammered by AI fears and is now down 35% over the past year, creating potentially a deep value opportunity or potentially a melting ice cube, which we will take a deep dive in for today here. So the bull case is quite simple. We've gone over it. The stock is deeply undervalued with a steep margin of safety, 46% below its current intrinsic value. And its conservative DCF valuation implies nearly a 65% upside. This is a company that has excellent free cash flow. The company is generating over 10.32 billion in free cash flow on 23.7 billion in revenue. So has a 43% free cash flow margin. So the margins look excellent, right? They also have AI-driven growth, right? So a lot of the bear case for Adobe, in which AI was going to impede on its growth, the AI for Adobe that they're implementing themselves is real and it's accelerating here. Q1 2026 earnings beat estimates of 6.06 non-GAAP EPS versus 5.86 that was forecasted, with revenue up 12% year over year. A lot of what's caused the sell-off to happen is because of management, right? We have the CEO who's been there for over a decade, ended up leaving, and then he's going to be handing it over to a new successor from that standpoint. Of course, they have a massive $25 billion buyback program they just signaled to their investors here. So in April 2026, they announced that $25 billion buyback through 2030. And it's a sign that they believe that stock is undervalued here. And they're committing towards buying back their shares to make their shares more valuable for its shareholders here. They also have a very strong balance sheet with low leverage. They have a debt to equity of just 0.54, an interest coverage of 33.1x. Mean Adobe has ample financial flexibility to weather any downturns or any concerns of a recession there. The bear case here. AI disruption threat is real and it's growing, right? Anytime Anthropic Claude releases anything new, you see the stock take a big hit, and overall the software space take a big hit, right? So that concern of over a lot of what Adobe is providing to be commoditized, that is the biggest fear about Adobe here. And is that warranted? Is it overblown? We'll take a deep dive into that here. There's also been some insider selling here. CEO Shantanu Narayan sold about 45.79 million worth of the stock here, and top executives sold millions more, right? This is not a huge con for this company here due to the fact that there has been insider buying in terms of the buyback program that they're instilling, but you do not want to see that. You want to see more insider buys than insider selling, right? Insider sales can happen for many various reasons. There's only one reason that an insider would buy their company here. So what is the bottom line here? This is a classic value investor's dilemma. You have a high quality business with superb fundamentals trading at this superb discount because of a legitimate but potentially overblown threat here. This company is generating massive cash flow, has a dominant market position, and is investing aggressively in artificial intelligence to defend that moat here, which also has been reflected in its numbers in terms of its growth here. So I'll take a look into the technicals and what I am seeing both from an Elliott wave standpoint as well as Fibonacci retracements and just overall where the stock is currently sitting here. So pulling up Adobe on the daily time frame here, it's pulled back into the golden retracement. It's capitulated, but essentially got above the 50 simple moving average. We've retraced to the golden retracement, holding steady around this golden retracement here, looking for a potential third wave move up, right? So we're seeing an impulse wave move 1, impulse wave move 2. We could stay around these areas for a bit, but eventually I expect some movement towards the third wave move towards this $297 target. Right, this 297 is a good psychological level, which is also aligning with prior supply here, right? So if I just mark out this supply zone, roughly around this 290 zone, it pretty much aligns with what we're seeing here. I'll extend this bolt to the left and the right. So as you can see there, last time we hit around this area, we rejected around here and fell down, right? It's sitting at a crucial area of demand right here. So we're below that crucial area of demand. I expect sometime in the future us to retrace towards this $290 level here. Looking at both the RSI and the MACD, looks like we are coming across, passing over this zero line for the MACD. So bullish momentum has been decreasing from this pullback. If we can get continued momentum to the upside, we'd likely have a lot of bullish momentum coming into the stock here, as well as crossing over the 50 for the RSI level over here as well. Looking at this stock on the weekly time frame, we are just simply oversold, right? So on the MACD, it looks like we're crossing over the signal line. In terms of the RSI, we're oversold around the 30, and the stock is seemingly finding some support around these areas here, looking for that third wave move up here. Looking at the monthly time frame, we are sitting right at the 200 simple moving average, right? So a very strong level of support on a technical level that a lot of institutions are going to be looking at. Looking at what the hidden whale data here. In terms of dark pool trades here, we are net bullish, 57.1 million net bullish. So 56% bullish compared to 44% bearish across 23 prints. Looking at the past 30 days for this company here, looking like there's a lot of aggressive buyers for the past 4 days here. We saw a $12 million print that was highly aggressive. So 51,000 shares at 236, and then subsequently on that same day a $28.6 million buy at around 238. And of course, we are holding around this 200 simple moving average right here. The main thing I do like to see is I don't see aggressive sells around these areas here. I do see a $23.9 million sell around this area here, but I don't see an overwhelming aggressive try to sell. And I see a level of support that seems to be holding around this key area here. In the monthly time frame, the RSI, we are oversold around 30. So yeah, everything is pointing for a move higher on all time frames here. So the setup looks pretty bullish, both on an Elliott wave standpoint, both on a Fibonacci retracement and a demand level that we're currently sitting on. And just fundamentally, the stock, like I said, seems to have found a bottom here. We saw a bunch of news that are now essentially, I'm not going to say it's a complete tailwind for Adobe here. There could be more updates coming out for Claude, which it seems to be doing every other week. A lot of the damage seems to have done. I'm seeing a lot of support for IGV, which is the ETF covering the software stocks here. So I do expect bullish momentum for software stocks as a whole coming into the coming weeks and even potentially even months, right? We saw other software stocks that are instituting other really strong buybacks and even insider sells, right? CRM with their massive buyback program as well. The CEO of Now with their insider buys, right? So I'm seeing a lot of these software stocks and these CEOs who are understanding that a lot of the damage that's been going on in the stock has been overblown. And so they've been taking advantage of it, and they've been either buying back the company or they've been buying out the shares through the open market as well. So that is my sort of analysis on Adobe stock. If you guys want me to analyze any other stocks, drop them down in the comments below. Happy trading.